Welcome to another video, guys. In today's video, does your speaker sound like this? I'm gonna show you how to replace your speakers on your daily or any of your cars, so stay tuned.
Music bed.
Alright guys, so first step, I'm gonna show you here the speakers I'm getting. So these are Sorum block punked, I think that's what you call it. 6.5-inch speakers I got from Amazon, and you can pretty much get whatever you want. You know, obviously I paid about, I think these were about $25, which is not bad. There's some that are a little bit less expensive on Amazon, about $20. I just known this brand's been around for a while, and they had a little bit more power capabilities. I think it was like 360 watts or something like that. But you can go up to a couple $100s for a pair of 6.5-inch speakers, so whatever you want to get. This is what they look like. So they have a little grill here, which I'm not going to end up using. But they have the built-in tweeter here on top, and you know, very simple, just the two connectors here on the back. They have different holes to mount them, and on this car I'm gonna have to modify the place where these mount. Obviously, you know, I've seen people where they just kind of try to mount it on a couple of spots and kind of leave it there, you know, however it lands, but I'm gonna try to do it the right way and show you guys how to do that. All right, we're gonna get started here with the driver's side door panel, and it's gonna be the same for driver and passenger. So I'm gonna go through the steps on this one, and then the other side, obviously you just do the same thing. It's just the other side of the car. Right. First thing you would wanna do is there's like a little cover here behind the door handle, and mine's missing, so someone ate it or something. But you want to take that cover off to get to a screw right there. There's also a little cover here on the side of the door panel, and you just gotta open this little, it's just like a little door, and that screw in there's not even all the way in, so someone didn't put it back. And there's another one right under here that you also gotta open up the little flap, and there's a screw in there as well. So this is gonna be a T20 torque spit. So, you know, it's the Star T20. And you're just gonna take this off. Pretty simple. Now, if you don't have a set of these, you can get the ones that are kind of like Allen keys that are torque spits. Those are less expensive. Or just get like the little bits and then use a regular screwdriver. So put that bolt aside, and then take this one on the side off. And these are different, so the one up here has a little different thread than this one, so try not to mix them. Remember where each one went. Alright, so once those are off, and actually I think I know what happened here. So they mixed the one up here with one of the ones over here. That's why this one wasn't all the way in, so don't do that. After you do that, you want to get like a plastic little pry bar. They sell these to take like panels off, that way you don't, you know, you don't put like marks on them or anything, but you're just going to get right in behind here. And it just depends. If someone's taking these off, it might be easier. It shouldn't be too hard to get these off of there. It just has little metal like clips to hold on to it. If you don't have a plastic, use a flat blade screwdriver, but just be careful not to, you know, put like a mark on the plastic. These cars are very expensive, so you don't want to mess with the nice plastic. Inside of here, there's going to be 2 screws, one in here, one in here, and that's going to be a little bit bigger than that T20. That's going to be a T25. So you want to do this one here. And that's the bolt. And one down here. This one's kinda deep in there, so once it's loose, it might not wanna come out, but once you pull the door off, it'll come out. So that's all you do, and then you're gonna get you can use like that plastic piece, or get like a, you know, a special tool to go behind the door panel, and just get behind there and pry it out. And once you start one corner, you can just use your fingers and kind of pull it gently out. You want to pull all the way back. And there is a clip right on this corner here, so once you kind of pull it off, you can kind of see it, get behind here with one of these or that plastic pry bar. That way you don't just pull it out and break something. So now you don't have a lot of room once you get everything off. Don't just pull on this door panel all the way out, because you gotta unplug all the wires. So you gotta unplug the one for the mirror. And if it helps you, use like a little screwdriver to get in the clip and undo it. There's the one for the little speaker here on top. And then there's the door panel, or the door handle that you have to unplug. And then down here you have all your plugs for your power window switches, so you gotta do those. And just take your time, make sure you don't break nothing. Once everything loose, your panel will come right off. So let me show you a little bit what you're gonna be doing. So you got all these clips that are gonna be pulling out. And if any of them, like this one here on the bottom, stay back, you just gotta pull it out and then put it back to your panel. So sometimes they just come out of there. That looked like it wasn't even clipped in there, so maybe last time someone took it out, they didn't put it in there. But you see all the clips here, and that's what you're gonna pull out. But there's your door panel, so if you need to clean it or do anything, you know, this is perfect time to do any of that. Now before we get to the speaker, I'm gonna show you all the clips that you're gonna be doing, and so that way you know what you need to do. So like this one is for that speaker on top. You can see there's a little tab here on the front. You push it and then just pull it out. This is for the mirror. And so on this one, you have to get with the screwdriver. Let's see, this was like this. So behind here, and just kind of wedge it in between that plastic, and just that way you can pull it out. So it doesn't have anything that you can actually push. You just gently wedge this in there and then pull it out. So that one's easier. And then the ones here on the power window switches, they do have this little tab. So this one has a small tab and you pull it. Same with this one and this one right here. So they just, you know, you gotta find the tab, push it, and gently pull it out. And then the door handle, this is put in there, and this little plastic piece is what holds it in. So you just gotta pull it backwards, and then you just undo this one. So pull it backwards and then just undo it. Pretty simple. So now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the speaker here. So you have 3 bolts and the connector, and then we'll get to that.
Told you woke up in the mood, dude.
All right, so the speaker here, we have 3 bolts, the same T25. Push this little plastic piece here and pull on the connector, so that's all it is. And I'm gonna unbolt it from the car. All right, and so this is the speaker that comes in there. Now we're gonna go to the bench and I'll show you how to use this kind of ring for your new speaker. Again, this hole here, if you put your 6.5-inch speaker, you might just have to put it on one corner and bolt it with 2 bolts on the side and let it just kind of hang. Or I'll show you how to use this, that way it bolts really solid, and then it bolts with the factory screws back in here. All right, so again, I don't know if you order these from like Crutchfield, if there are some rings that they sell to adapt this. So you can tell the speaker is 6.5, but obviously this plastic piece makes that hole, I don't know, like 7.5 inches. So, you know, it'd be hard, but I'm gonna show you that you can put the speaker inside of here instead of kind of just, you know, bolting it on with 1 bolt and kind of let it hang there. So first thing we have to do is take the speaker out of here. So you can see the speaker is built into this ring, but I'm gonna get my wire cutters, wear some safety glasses. I'm gonna go get some now, and we're just gonna cut this little plastic tabs off. Now be careful when you're cutting plastic. Again, safety goggles, and you can wear some gloves. Just, you know, plastic can get sharp when you cut it, so be careful. Do as I say, not as I do. But I'm just gonna cut these tabs here, pretty much just to get the speaker out of there. And it's not too hard. You have some, if you have some good wire cutters, you can pretty much just cut these pieces out. I guess you could use like a Dremel tool or a grinder and cut all those pieces off, but I just found this to be kind of easier for me anyways. And then those pieces where the speaker connects, I'm just gonna go ahead and also take them out. So you can see the speaker is loose. I'm gonna push it forward. Just kind of angle it so that way these plastic pieces don't get stuck on themselves. And just push the speaker up. What's left of it anyway. So you're gonna have part of the speaker material here on this side. So just peel it off. You don't need any of this. And so this is why you have that ring that you can reuse. Now I'll go back in here with my pliers or wire cutters and just, you know, make sure I cut everything completely off. Kind of flush. And again, be careful with any of these pieces of plastic. It might be sharp in here, so. Again, you can get like a Dremel and sandy smooth. But that's pretty much what you're looking at there. So now put in your speaker in here. I know that this plug goes this way because this is where the connector was. So that goes kind of towards the back of the car. And I just kind of want this to be parallel or horizontally with that. So I would want the speaker to be, I'm gonna say around like this area right here. Probably like this. So you can't mount the speaker flat because of this lip around here. I guess you could cut the little tabs on the speaker off a little bit, but I'm just gonna mark, let's see, kind of where those tabs are here on this plastic ring. And same thing, I'm gonna use my wire cutters. And you can tell it kind of just breaks off. So I'm just gonna cut that off. And just make room for those little tabs. So even this one that's pretty short here. And on this one, since it doesn't just break off, you can use like some regular pliers and just kind of break that little bit of plastic off there. And just one last one here. So once that's done, then you should be able to put your speaker flat in here, just like that. And so what I'm gonna do now is get my marker and just kind of put a little dot where I need to have a hole for the speaker to be mounted. All 4 spots there. Then I'm gonna get a drill bit. I think I can't even see what it is, but it's really small. Match your drill bit to the bolts that your speaker came with. So, you know, this one's obviously it's got to be a little bit smaller, that way it gets under tight. I think mine is like 1/16 around there. And then I'm just gonna drill a small little hole there where I mark those holes. You want to drill a hole because this is kind of hard plastic. If you just drive the screw through there, it might crack it. And you know, if you crack it, then you're gonna you're gonna ruin that ring. So just drill in this little hole there. And then I'm also gonna use a bigger drill bit. This is about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit bigger. Maybe like 5/16. 9/32. So it doesn't have to be that size, but I'm gonna drill where I pulled the connector off. just a small hole there. That way I can get the wire from the back of the speaker and put it through there to attach it to the car harness. Alright, so once that's done, can get back and put the speaker in there, and then just start putting this screws in here. Obviously I'm gonna need a screwdriver. They're gonna be tight to do it by hand, but I'm just starting them on each hole here. And just be careful when you're tying these. I remember a long time ago doing this, and then my screwdriver slipped and I put a hole in my brand new speaker. So keep that in mind if you have to put something to block it, or just be careful when you're doing it. Especially if you're using like a power drill, electric drill to tying these up. And they don't have to be super tight, they're just holding your speaker in there, so just put it in there snug. Alright, so there you are. Your speaker's mounted to that piece. And so now we just got to get that cable. And whatever speakers you go with, they should come with the wire that has the right little connections for your speaker. And I'm just going to put that through that hole that I drilled here where the factory plug was. Pull it through, and then you just want to attach your end to the speaker here. And when you're plugging this in, just be careful. Maybe hold the piece here on the speaker when you're pushing it in, because it's only attached by the little rivet right there. And so if you start to push it too hard, these are a little bit hard on there. You might just break that off of the speaker. So just, you know, be mindful of that. And so we're ready to install it, and then we're just gonna cut this once we're in the car and wire it to the factory plug. All right, back in the car here. So we're just gonna bolt this back in the factory spot right here. Using those 3 bolts. Use your T25 bit. Tighten them up. All right, so last thing, again, I don't know if you can buy a pigtail for this that would make it just plug in here and then has the wire for this, or you can splice this. So since we're going full budget on this thing here, I'm just gonna cut some of this insulation off a little bit on the wire. Now, this might be a little confusing because there's 4 wires in here. Speaker only takes 2. What's going on here is you have the outer wires that are coming in from the radio for the speaker, and then the factory speaker over here on this plug, they were connected to this, you know, this outside one was connected to this green one, this one to this brown one, and these go up to that tweeter on top. So what you'll have to do is, and just kind of keep them in order. So the outer 2, I'm gonna start with those, and I'm just gonna cut them and peel the insulation off. Okay. Now these 2 are gonna go together because you want the signal to go to that tweeter on top as well. So those are gonna stay together. And then the outer 2 on the other side, same thing. Peel the insulation. And these 2 are gonna stay together as well. And then all you'll have to do is put your speaker to these. 1 on each side, obviously. And here's the other side. Now, before I tape these and start putting everything back together, I'm gonna turn the key, the ignition on, turn the radio on just to make sure it sounds good. And it's actually working before I put everything back together. So. Let's see here. Okay. So you can see it's working. So it's working. I'm just gonna turn the radio off and then continue to tape the wires and put the door panel back on. So as you could tell, it wasn't sounding like a can of screws or whatever rattling in there. Sounds nice, and I can turn the volume higher and, you know, get some of that nice music after work, right? So what you want to do is tape these wires here. You can always, you know, solder all this stuff together. It's up to you. I'm just gonna tape them. Make sure they're twisted nice and tight, and then just tape them together. Make sure none of the wires exposed, that way it doesn't short out. And then one last thing I'll do is I'll get a small piece of tape, that way these wires aren't just kind of like hanging there. And I'll tape it to this plastic panel here. Keep it against there. Now this one obviously has a plastic panel, so your window's not gonna catch on them, but if you're doing a different car, you don't wanna leave the wires where the window's gonna catch on them and pull them out. So, you know, I just tape them there. We're good to go. So we're just gonna go ahead and put that door panel back on. So this is gonna be reverse installation from when we took it off. So I'm gonna start with the plugs here for the power windows. Okay. And then we're gonna do the door handle here. And just try your door handle, make sure you can tell it's catching. I'm gonna do the mirror. and the tweeter right on top. So make sure everything is connected, and then you're gonna go ahead and hang the door panel here on this groove, and then just look through the hole or the little crack here and make sure that the that top pin that we disconnected last, that's gonna guide where the door has to go forward or backwards. So once that's good, you can also look down like this bolt hole here. You should be able to see where it's gonna bolt onto. And then you just want to just make sure everything clips into place. And so we're going to work backwards. And put the bolts back on. This one's the one that stayed in here, kind of stuck, but you're just gonna tighten it back up, and then we'll do this top one here. Now we're gonna change our bit to the T20. And we'll do the one up here. And then we'll do the ones down on the bottom here of the door panel. And see, this one is the right screw for this one, so it's gonna go all the way in, not like before where it was just sticking out. And then just put that little plug back in there. And we'll do this bottom one as well. And just put that plug in there. And lastly, we're gonna do this one here. So there's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4 little clips, and this one's moved back and forth. I think whoever had it apart before just didn't line them up right. So what you wanna do is make sure they're all lined up. You can pretty much see when they're lining up, and then just push them in. And that's it. So that's how you replace your speakers or remove your door panels on your Ford Fiesta. I think this is like 2011 all the way to like 2018. Or replace your speakers as well. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Leave a thumbs up, any comments, questions. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.